Okay, no one is quite sure what to expect next from Twitter's Elon Musk. He announced sudden changes to the platform, including limits to the amount of posts that users can read in a day, saying in a tweet that the action was taken to, quote, address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation.
All right, here to discuss the potential reasons behind these changes, Ahmed Nath, a tech expert with San Jose State University. So depending on how you look at these limits, depending on whether you're listening to Elon Musk or some of the users say, he's like, oh, this is my good deed. I'm letting you go out and not stay on Twitter so long. And I've seen a lot of Twitter users saying, are you just trying to break this? Where do you stand on all this?
Well, I'm one of the victims of that because I've been, deprived of my Twitter account for hours and hours, just trying to read and trying to follow up what's going on. The whole story here is very simple. He tried to solve one problem, but he created 10 problems. What I mean by that is scraping is something which is been going on forever. It's one way for startups and companies to collect public data, and they use this one to train their programs. So it's not a new problem. We know about it for, as long as the AI exists and all these kind of things going on. But he really hurt, two important categories of our business, the users and the advertisers.
Okay, so we've been hearing from people about what might be his true motivation here. Do you think that there's something more going on behind this decision?
Just looking at the way he increases the limits, he started with, 300, 600, 6,000, and then all the way to 8,000, and now we're talking about 500, 1,000, 10,000. It gives you an idea that it's not some kind of a team decision or some kind of a discussion going on. And that raises the issue of what happened to the new CEO, the one that came from NBC. I mean, she is well known. She was respected. She's respected by the advertisers. Where she stand in this, in this kind of a mess? His motivation was to protect Twitter. But what he have done, he's actually pushing people to find alternatives.
Well, and you mentioned the new CEO. She hasn't actually responded to anything yet, liked a couple of his tweets. But what does that tell you? He's still on board, obviously, as the chief technology officer and the owner. But does that give you any insight? We would expect at this point that there would be maybe some kind of statement.
Her next move is going to define that. Claudine, your question is an excellent question. Her next move will decide what's going to happen. Is she going to restore, and undo whatever he have done, and then will prove that she is the captain of the ship? Or are we going to have two captains for the ship, and then we're going to have a problem in this situation? And this is what we are facing now.
Okay, Professor, so we outlined a few of the potential motivations, but if this is something that is seeing so much backlash, why do you think Musk would pursue this route?
His decision is this. He acts and then he thinks after that. This has been his situation forever. The problem is that since he took Twitter, he's making mistake after mistake after mistake, and he's trying to correct that by changing it later. And that is what we are facing with him now, about what's going to be next. And he said this is temporary. Well, scraping is not going to stop. It's going to go forever, because this is how they start up getting their data. So what do you mean by temporary? And the other thing which is basically the other side of the coin, or the other side of the equation, is he's trying to push the subscription model, pushing people to subscribe to the check mark, because that is his baby. This is to prove that the money can come from that model, not from the advertisement.
So by putting these limits, it forces you to make that decision.
Correct. The people that look at it and say, okay, now I need this, read this information. Now, Heather, here's another, piece of information. Most of Twitter users are really consuming the post. They're not creating the post. And this is the story of Twitter. Many of the news agencies, they go and scan all the tweets to find if there is something interesting. The same thing with the agencies. I mean, the Weather Channel is complaining about what happened because they cannot get all the information for everybody. If they hit their limit of 10,000, then the information is gone. So it's not something that I think he thought about it that will have an impact on the users. For him, he's trying to defend the platform against some people who are getting the information for free.
All right, as we mentioned at the top of this segment, a lot of confusion and questions about this latest move by Musk. I really appreciate your time, Professor. Thank you.
Thanks to both of you. Thank you.